Namaste. Today we will be exploring how we can help our children study at home. Some of us might be worried if our children are falling far behind in their studies. We may be confused as to how much time should they actually spend studying every day. Is my child spending too little time, or are they sitting for too long? We also may be wondering how best we can help our children during this time with some maybe challenging subjects. Today, we are going to look at some of the guidelines that may help you at home. Remember that these are guidelines and use what is best for you and your child. First, let's look at study routines. I may have a child who finds it very beneficial to say study at a particular time every day. So, to a child like that, I might set a time like 10 a.m. every day for study. Or I may have a child who does not enjoy a specific schedule. In that case, I might say 2 worksheets before lunch, depending on the work and the age of the child. Before we set a particular amount of time that a child should sit down to study, we first need to take a step back and observe our children for a few days. Observe how long do they actually sit down to study. You may find that it's actually very different for different subjects and according to their interest, of course. When do they sit down to study? Is it when they are alert? Or is it after some screen time, right after a meal where they're sluggish? Is it at the end of the day? So let's just observe first what is happening when they sit down to study. Once we have that information, let's look forward on helping them. Firstly, if it's not a time when they're very alert, we would change the time of their study. Secondly, if we find that our child, who we would like to sit for 40 minutes at their desk, is unable to sit for not more than 10 to 12 minutes, we need to then reset our expectations for the short term. There is no harm in wanting our children to sit down to study for 40 minutes or more. But if our child is unable to sit for not more than 12 minutes, we would want to start with 15 minutes. Before they sit down to study, you want to tell them what your expectations are, get their worksheets, get their pencil cases, everything that they need, set an alarm there right by their desk if necessary, and set a timer for 15 minutes for which they cannot get up from their seat for that time. This time can slowly be increased. Research has proven that short increments create long-standing habits rather than really, really hard quick fixes. Next, when dealing with challenging subjects, our children may need our support. So it would be a good idea to actually get them to work on those subjects when we can be accessible with our time. If you're a work at home parent and this is very hard for you during the day, maybe have a grandparent accessible over the phone, an aunt or an uncle. If that is not possible, might be a good idea to prepare some material ahead, either on YouTube or on Khan Academy and videos online that they can watch, which helps them understand a concept or which will help them with that task. Sometimes our children struggle because they've not had enough repetitions or revision of the concept. Why is it that all children are so fluent in the alphabets? Because at a very young age, it has been constantly repeated. As they grow older, the concepts are built upon each other much faster. It might be a good idea at this lockdown to step back and spend some time on these core concepts. Depending on which grade they are, I'm sure if you do reach out to your teachers and the school to identify what those core concepts are, they will be willing to help you. And lastly is study reviews. Study reviews can be done weekly, twice a week, or even every day. The value of study reviews is so that we know how much work is done and when work is not done, why it's not done. It is never to blame our children to show them what work they have missed doing. When we do regular reviews, it really helps our children and gives them a lot of insight into how they can actually work better. We have some resources on our website parentingmatters.in which may be helpful. We have put up some free resources. We have collected them and they're all in one place. So do visit our website. You will find educational resources and also resources for some storytelling and other activities that are available. We also want you to remember that your children are doing their best at this time and you are parenting to the best of your ability.